Another variable macroeconomists look at is the Consumer Price Index and the cost of living. Now we look at the Consumer Price Index and the general level of prices because we want to be able to differentiate between real and nominal values. In order to do this, we need to be able to determine what the general level of the price is at different points in time. One measure of the price level is called the Consumer Price Index. It's a price index that measures the cost of a fixed basket of goods chosen to represent the consumption pattern of a typical consumer. So if you can imagine what a typical consumer buys and determining how much that market basket costs in any given year. As you look at changes in the costs of that market basket, keeping the market basket fixed, you look at how prices have changed. So the technical way that the CPI is calculated for a year, say year K, where K represents some year, the CPI is the cost of that market basket in year K divided by the cost of the market basket in what's called the base year. And then we multiply it times 100. Now the base year is the year that we're going to compare all prices to. So we can see that if we're calculating the CPI in the base year, we'd have the cost of the market basket in the base year divided by the cost of the market basket in the base year times 100. It would be equal to 100. The CPI in the base year is always equal to 100. If in the next year prices have gone up 10%, then the cost of the market basket in year K divided by the cost of the market basket in the base year times 100 would be 110. So the usefulness of an index is we can compare the value of that index across time very easily. And the CPI is a price index which is intended to measure the cost of how much a typical consumer has to pay in order to live. Now what goes into that basket? The CPI market basket includes food and beverages, apparel, non-durables, durables, rent, household services, transportation, medical, and other services. And you can see the distribution of those goods and how much is in the market basket by the size of the pie shapes in this pie graph. There are many issues related to how we measure prices in this way, but the CPI is a very good measure of the cost of living. And when we look at inflation, we're going to look at the percentage change in the Consumer Price Index as one way to measure the inflation rate. Now, some of the issues that are related to measuring inflation in this way include no changes in the market basket over time. And so even when people change their behavior, they don't see a change in the market basket, and it doesn't account for changes in technology. But this is one very good way of measuring inflation, although we should be cognizant of those shortcomings.